Does what you are doing for a living right now has anything to do with what you could have imagined when you were 18? Probably not. So don't worry if you don't know what to do yet. Life is full of surprises. When I graduated, I didn't know what to do, so I went on job boards, scrolling through different job opportunities, and I came across this job ad. No experience required because they were offering a training program, but also they were promoting meritocracy, uncapped commission, clear career path with great career opportunities and equal chances. And it clicked and made me curious. So I applied. However, though, I was maybe not the most obvious fit for the job, right? An introvert, not very talkative guy for a job where mostly you have to connect and match people. Well, how did I convince them? And that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to use my personal experience, but also what I learned in so many years in recruitment to help you to get your first job in this wonderful industry. And before going any further, in case you are wondering what qualification you need to become a recruitment consultant, I made a video about it where you will find more information. But basically, what is important for you to understand at this stage is that the staffing industry is an industry that mostly hire for attitude and train for skills. So graduated, not graduated, experience, no experience, everyone has a chance, literally. So here is my first mistake. During the first interview, the recruiter asked me, why did you apply? And I answered, because I'm interested in recruitment. And the recruiter asked me, okay, did you apply to other staffing agencies? And I realized that now it would look bad for me to say no, right? So I said yes. And the next question was, okay, where did you apply? And of course, I couldn't answer because that was not true. So my first mistake was to believe that you could bullshit a recruiter. The person you are going to meet talk to and interview thousands of candidates. No matter how smart you think you are, there is no way you can bullshit an experienced recruitment consultant. And even if they let you think otherwise, trust me, they know. So the first thing to do to avoid this to happen, do not ever lie to impress a recruiter. And if you don't know something, just say it. And the second way to avoid it to happen is to go to the interview prepared. Because my second mistake was to think that regurgitating what was in their job description would be enough. But it is not. As I said, it is fine not to have any prior experience. But then you need to show interest because they are going to invest in you. And here are two powerful and easy tips to prepare yourself for any interview and to show interest. And the best way to understand any company business is to analyze the competition. So Google them and find the 3 main competitors, 3 other staffing agencies covering similar markets. And it is even better if you can spot the main difference. You read their websites and in less than 30 minutes, you are good. Not only dropping those names during the interview will show that you are not here by accident, but also it will give you more options, more staffing agencies you can apply to. And number 2, the best way to show interest is to ask questions. So do not hesitate to ask questions during the interview. It is a two-way conversation, and it is even better if you can prepare a few questions beforehand. And showing interest and being prepared is a very good start, but it is not enough. You need to show that you understand the job, that you understand what it takes, that you understand how demanding is the job, and that you understand that it is a sales job and what it means. You will have to deal with rejections a lot. You will have to handle ups and downs, frustration, and you will have to deal with pressure in a competitive and result-oriented environment. Because not everybody can deal with that, no matter how good the reward is. So use anything from your background, personal or professional, to demonstrate that you feel comfortable and confident to deal with it. You know, for example, when I was a student, I was working in a call center. So I knew what was cold calling and I knew what was selling over the phone. But also it showed resilience. It showed that I was ready to go out of my comfort zone, and really it played heavily in my favor to get the job. But it could also be that you played sport at some level and that you had to handle pressure in a competitive environment. Really, it could be anything. But understanding and having experienced some of the challenges of the job is not enough to convince them that you will be able to cope with it in the long term. Because yes, the job is demanding, but it comes with a reward. So show them that somehow that reward drives you. Uncapped commission, continuous learning, having an impact on people's life, opportunities to grow, great career opportunities, etc. What's going to keep you going during the difficult times? What is your why? And the most important tip to me, be authentic and drop the mask. A recruiter interview is a very unconventional interview. So you can say, and I would even say you should say things that you would never say in a traditional interview. Because anybody can say, I want money, I want to be successful. But It is when you challenge someone on his why that you can really see who means it. And that's what they are going to do. They will go deep trying to understand the backstory, and it can be emotionally draining. So don't try to fake it, accept the confrontation and be prepared for this. Be prepared to say things that probably you never said about you, or at least not out loud. And this next tip is very, very important because I see that way too often. Listen. If you are ever being asked a question you don't feel comfortable with, because you are unsure on how it will be perceived, you didn't graduate, you have a gap in your resume, you changed jobs many times, I don't know. Remember this. It is not a big deal unless you make it a big deal. It is your perception, not theirs. We are very open-minded in the recruitment industry and nobody will ever judge you for that. So don't be evasive, don't panic, be confident. It is all about your attitude and the feeling that you convey. Be clear and don't try to find excuses. Don't play the victim. This happened for that reason and it is what I learned from it. And now I'm moving forward. That's it. And the last tip, always be closing. ABC. Process control, proactivity, and always being a step ahead is key to succeed in this job. And you have the perfect opportunity to show that it is something that you already have in you. Could you please explain me the process? How many steps are there? What's next? When can I expect to hear from you? When are you planning to take the final decision, etc.? Those are the questions that you should ask. And then be proactive. Send them a thank you email the next day, for example, or even better, give them a call where you confirm your interest for the role and try to close them again on when you should receive the feedback, for example. So overall, what's important is to show that you understand the job, that you understand that it is a sales job and what it means, to be prepared to be challenged on your drive and to demonstrate the following skills or qualities: being eager to learn, being coachable, being proactive, being ambitious, being resilient, and being a fit for a meritocracy. And if you want to make a job search more successful and you want to use my experience as a recruiter to do so, I can only advise you to watch that video next.